All right, here we go. Week 1 in our series called Circles, where we're discussing how if you show us your friends, we can give you an indication of what your future is going to look like. I love the phrase that talks about how we are the sum of the 5 people that we keep the closest to us. And we're going to use a social media term, let's just call it influencer vibes. And the reality is this: you're either an influencer or you're being influenced. But either way, all of these play a significant part in you accomplishing the plan and the purpose that God has for your lives. Now, the reality is this: we're not always going to get things right. We're going to make some dumb decisions. We're going to make some mistakes just as we grow and mature. But there are some things that we don't necessarily have to go through to get to this place that God's calling us to. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20 points it out very clear. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he says, hey, if you roll with the wise, you'll become wise. But if you roll with fools, you'll end up doing some foolish things. You'll be influenced not to attaining God's best. It reminds me of something happened in high school. There were about 5 guys that got together one day and thought it would be fun to get in front of a computer and print off counterfeit cash and then roll into the cafeteria and try to pay for their meal using these counterfeit dollars. So one guy built up enough courage among the 5 to walk up to the cafeteria lady and hand her a counterfeit 20. I mean, homie thought he was making it rain inside of the lunchroom, and she turned him into administration faster than he could spell his name, and his name only had 4 letters. What he learned that day as he's sitting in the AP's office confessing what he'd done, and watch this, also rolling on the other 5 guys in the group, is that if I end up hanging and coming up with foolish ideas, I'm going to end up doing foolish things, and I'm going to be influenced not to experiencing the best that could happen in my life and through my life. These 5 guys found themselves in a precarious situation, and oftentimes you and I have been influenced and found ourselves in those type of situations as well. Maybe it's through a dating relationship where you got into this relationship because it was all about popularity, and the deeper you're getting in the relationship, the more you realize that the influence that this boyfriend or girlfriend is having on your life is leading you in the opposite direction of what God says is his best. Or maybe you're on a team and some of the teammates on that squad seem to be ostracizing other teammates and kind of creating a clique, and you find yourself in the middle of, am I going to be influenced to walk away from this teammate, or am I going to be an influencer and say I'm including everybody in this team? Or maybe you're finding yourself in a spot where you've got some younger siblings or some older siblings, and they're looking to you to be an influencer in your home. I just want to encourage you that if you hang out with people who are wise, the influence that's going to come off of your life, or the influence that's going to be experienced through your life, can be something life-giving to those around you. So here's one question for you to consider as you're moving forward with: how are people influencing my life? Think about who are the 5 people that have the most influence from your circle, and then ask yourself, how are they influencing me? To become wise or to become foolish? It's a question you got to wrestle with yourself.